You know, you'd figure grapes would put up more of a fuss when they get crushed, but nope, just a little wine. Hey folks, welcome to This Week in History. Let's do it to it. On February 28th in 202 BC, Liu Bang became Emperor of China, starting 4 centuries of rule by the Han Dynasty. In 1525, the final Aztec king, Cuauhtémoc, yeah, that's probably wrong, but hey, I gave it a shot, was executed by the Spanish, and it's still up in the air whether it was provoked or not. Probably not. On March 1st of 1562, 63 Huguenots, basically French Protestants, were massacred in Vassy, France, in what has become known as the Vassy Massacre. Imagine that. This event marked the start of the French Wars of Religion that lasted the next 36 years. On March 2nd, it's Texas Independence Day, so happy birthday, Texas, because in 1836, the Declaration of Independence of the Republic of Texas was adopted. In 1859, the largest slave auction in U.S. history, it lasted 2 days, began in Savannah, Georgia. 436 men, women, and children were sold in what is known as both the Great Slave Auction and the Weeping Times. On March 3rd, 1857, France and the United Kingdom both declared war on China, beginning the Second Opium War. I mean, granted, they could have called it Opium II Imperial Boogaloo, but is that really even a better name? Plus, you just gotta love sequel wars about drug smuggling. Also, a huge shout out to Steve Stevens. I'm pretty sure it's Steve, even though it says Shreve, but I'm going with Steve. And a hearty thank you for supporting us on Patreon. It really helps to know that people actually like and kind of care about what we're doing here. And if anybody else wants to get in on that action, well, the link's down in the description. On March 4th of 1519, Hernan Cortez arrived in Mexico after hearing about the Aztec civilization and their wealth. Yeah, it didn't turn out particularly well, but we've got a video on that. In 1908, the Collinwood School in Collinwood, Ohio caught fire and burned down, killing 172 students, 2 teachers, and 1 rescuer. On March 5th in 1770, 5 Americans were fatally shot by British troops at the Boston Massacre. It all started because of a confrontation between a British officer and a 13-year-old wig maker's apprentice. Yeah, that makes sense. This event was also the first major domino to fall that led to the American Revolution on down the road. And on the other side of that coin, in 1906, the U.S. Army defeated native Moros in the First Battle of Badajoz, also known as the Morro Crater Massacre, seeing as before it went down, there were just under 1,000 Moros in Badajoz, and afterwards there were 6. A lot of men, women, and children died. This was all part of the Moro Rebellion from 1899 to 1913 that stemmed out of the Philippine-American War. On March 6 and 632, the Islamic prophet Muhammad gave the farewell sermon during his first full and final pilgrimage. And on the other side of that coin, in 845, the 42 martyrs of Amorium took place, where 42 higher officials of the Byzantine army were executed by the Abbasid Caliphate after the Abbasids refused to accept money in return for their release, and the officials refused to convert to Islam. And birthdays this week, we've got Italian painter, sculptor, and Ninja Turtle namesake Michelangelo in 1475, violinist and composer Antonio Vivaldi in 1678, and the American gangster that more or less led to the founding of Las Vegas, Bugsy Siegel, was born this week in 1906. And that's just gonna about do it for this week, but we'll see you back here next week. Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel. Be good out there, but if you gotta be bad, at least be good at it.